Hello, I'm Don Phipps, Superintendent of the Caldwell County Schools, and I have the privilege of being able to be the host today for this episode. We have two segments in our episode. Our second segment, we're going to talk about arts education and an upcoming event in our county. But first, in our first segment, I have with me Ms. Libby Huff, who is the director of our CTE program in Caldwell County. We have several things we want to share with you about CTE, but first, before we get too deep into the conversation, explain for our viewers what CTE stands for.
So CTE stands for Career and Technical Education, and it's been around for over 100 years in public education, and people formerly knew our programs as vocational courses, and as it has evolved over time to keep up with workforce demands, the names have changed, and it's Career and Technical Education.
And it's not just welding, it includes welding and things like that, but you also have picked up a lot of the technology and the specialized types of things as well, correct?
That's correct, yes. So originally, vocational education was put in the public schools to take care of agriculture needs, back in the early 1900s. And as it evolved, the goal of career and technical education is to keep up with workforce demands and what the type of skills that students would need when they graduate high school in order to get a good job and be successful.
And given that information tied to needs that are in the workplace, particularly in a community that you serve, and we think about a school district, are the CTE program offerings different from district to district based on what the local needs are?
Yes. So we're required through federal and state requirements to do surveys and to keep up with the local workforce needs through some of the workforce boards and the Economic Development Commission and Chamber of Commerce and the data that comes from those organizations. And so our goal is to meet the needs in our local community and region.
And in some minds, I think back in the old days, whatever the old days were for individuals, there were two classes of education, the college-going education and then the vocational track, which I hope we've dismissed that as a myth now. And we see the value in having students go through potentially both, but certainly a student who wants to be a person that may be in a blue-collar area, have the ability to earn more potentially when they come out and go to work right away with the credentials and the certifications and the connections with the community college, correct?
That's correct, yes. So students, instead of it being two entirely separate groups, the students kind of blend over and mix over, and CTE are electives for the students. They can concentrate in the CTE area. So if a student has plans to go to college, let's say to be a registered nurse, they can take our health science courses and even get their CNA 1 license that will help them to get into nursing school.
And we'll talk about a completer in just a moment, but explain for our viewers what a CTE completer is.
Okay, so we have federal guidelines that form that definition, and they change from time to time. And right now, to concentrate in an area and to reach that completer course, the students have to reach the level 2. And in some cases, that's just 2 courses with a level 1 and a level 2. If there's a prerequisite, it might be a series of 3 courses before they can get to that level 2 course.
In the same area?
In the same area. So, for example, for our construction classes, there's a core safety class, that's the prereq, and then they go into like Carpentry 1 and Carpentry 2. At that point, they would be a CT concentrator. They concentrated in that specific program area. And then they can go on to take the advanced courses after that.
When do we begin to talk to students about course offerings and interests that they might have?
So as early as middle school, the counselors and career development coordinators work with students. Even in 5th grade, when they do like career fairs and they visit the upper level schools, they're made aware of different courses. And we also try to do career awareness activities with students in the form of a career interest survey to see what their interests might be or what they're good at or what they like and what type of job they might be a good fit for, to try to get them to think what kind of courses they would like to take. And then in 8th grade, they register for their high school courses and they go through that process.
And I hope having that awareness, the high school years are more meaningful with students taking courses that tie into things that they have interest in. And again, at the end of the day, as a superintendent, I want folks to realize we want you to be what you want to be and be the best you can. If it's college going, we want to prepare you. If it's directly into the workplace, we want to prepare you. And I think our CTE program has done that. I mentioned Completer a little bit earlier because I want to make this point. I'm proud of a lot of the data that comes out of our CTE program, particularly in our school system. But what can you share with the public about the CTE completers and the graduation rate that we've seen over the last few years?
Okay, so over the last few years, we average around 98, 99% of our CT concentrators that are graduates. I think this past year was 97%, which is well above the state average, and that typically is what you see in districts with when you compare your CT concentrators. When students get involved in a certain area and there's buy-in there and they form that relationship with the program and with the teachers and they participate in the clubs and the activities and the competitions, they become it becomes part of them. And after they graduate, when they think back over their days in high school, those are the classes and things they'll remember, the hands-on activities, the things they made, the things they built, the skills they learned. That's what will stick with them throughout their life.
So now it's an opportunity on air for you to be able to share with the public what the success looks like in our school system. In fact, you've hit a new level. I want to be a premier school district as we dissect and look at ourselves through a variety of lenses. But when we talk about CTE, I would say you've arrived because you can't get much higher than you are right now. So share with the public what those numbers look like.
Okay,
and what they are.
Okay, so the state has different performance indicators. And one of those is the number of credential opportunities that our students earn throughout the year. So the state has 3 top 10 lists that they rank districts on for their number of credentials. And there's percentages and then there's totals. So we are number 1 in the state for our percentage based on enrollment of credentials earned by our students. We're also number 1 in the state on the top 10 list for the potential percentage that our students earn. We're actually number 2 in the total enrollment, which in that category you're going to see the larger districts, you know, the Charlotte Meck and the Wake and those larger districts there, and we're number 2. And I'm completely surprised that we're even on that top 10 list, but that just shows you how hard our teachers work and how hard our students work and how much they put into the value of getting and earning those credentials.
And I think it also reflects the value and the appreciation that our community has for those course offerings as well. You have a couple of new initiatives that folks may see with respect to the advertisement that's available on a couple of these initiatives. Talk to me about those.
So over the last couple of years we have started some new pathways, and one is our culinary pathway, and for our students to work in that culinary pathway, we added a food truck last year, and it's called the CT Eatery, and you may have seen us out at different places. That one was very successful, and we've added a second one now for this next school year, and it's a little bit larger, and we'll be able to serve a larger group when we go out with that one. But the students form a food truck team at their school in the culinary program, and it's work-based learning for them, and they'll get like internship hours or on-the-job training type of credit for those classes that they take, and it's hands-on experience. So they're out dealing with the public, they're out in a crowd in a rush and trying to get something done and do it right and do a good job, and they take it serious, and they're so proud when we finish a food service to sit back and see what they've done and how well they've done, and the enthusiasm and the motivation has just grown. Our numbers enrollment have grown in that area. We've also grown our agriculture programs. We've added a ag mechanics program, which brought in a welding lab at one school, and we also increased agriculture courses by adding an animal science program. And those numbers are, you know, we're having to turn students away actually in some of those programs now, and we're adding a couple second levels because it takes a while to grow up to the second level for those, and so we've added the second level now in both the ag mechanics and the animal science programs.
And I was speaking to a principal yesterday who told me there was a lot of renewed interest in the masonry program. and I know the plumbing and the electrical and the HVAC and things that are in place at the community college we want to prepare students for. So we'll wrap up our segment with you sharing a bit about an upcoming celebration and special guest that we're going to have in Caldwell County.
Okay, so we are going to have our beginning of the year meeting when all the CT department is together, and I'm so excited about that for a couple of reasons. And one is it's the first time we've been together face to face with our group in over 2 years, and I'll be so happy to see everybody there and be able to speak to everyone at one time and make sure that we're all focused in on the same goals like we have been. We have such a great CT department with our teachers and our staff. We're going to be celebrating our #1 in the state status. This is the first time we've been together to do that, so we're going to have the celebration. And I invited the state superintendent, Catherine Truitt, to attend and speak at our beginning of the year meeting, and she said yes, so she's going to be coming to see us and celebrate with us.
Well, I'm happy she'll be here, but it makes me more thrilled to be able to celebrate with our folks and the great work that they've done. Thank you for your leadership, for all that you do. And thank you for being with us for the first segment. We hope you'll return for segment number 2. We'll talk about arts education and theater production in our school system. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us for segment number 2. I have 2 more special guests that are with me here on the set. Beth Woodard is the theater teacher from South Caldwell High School, and Julia Youngsmith is the theater teacher from Davenport A+ Elementary. Thank you both for joining me.
Thank you.
I want to just kick off and give you the opportunity to share with our viewers what you think the value of arts and arts education is in our school system.
Oh, wow. That's art is everything. Art is theater, particularly. It's math. We do math. We do English. It's literature. It's creativity. It's collaboration, cooperation. I mean, all of the sciences and I guess languages, everything. Theater just really encompasses all of those things.
What about at the elementary level?
Yes, I get asked that a lot actually with, oh, you teach elementary theater. Well, that must be fun. What do you do? And yeah, it really is all about that inclusive element of I can tie in with anyone. Anyone can use my material with what they're teaching, which at an integrated school is very convenient. But also, it's just about introducing students to the people, the humanities around them, whether it is being able to identify feelings and how to process their feelings and express their feelings, or just having the confidence at 5 or 6 years old to know that they can speak out and be heard and they're valued even at that age with what their little opinions are. They're still valued, and giving them the courage to feel like they can offer those up.
Do you find even at the elementary level that there are students that have an opportunity to showcase what they know that they might not be able to if they're having to do a test and they have to write, or they have to do something in a standardized format when they're given a more open format like they might have in the arts? Are they able to engage and show you more of what they know?
Absolutely. We have a very high population of Spanish speakers in our county, and they might struggle with reading or writing in English, but they can tell a story, they can act it out, they can express feelings and ideas and emotions that might not be able to go onto paper, but can be communicated person to person.
And we had Libby Huff here just a little while ago and was talking with her about CTE completers. And our research has shown that students that have something that they feel like they belong to tend to stay in school, do better, and have a higher graduation rate at the high school level. Do you see that there are students that find a belonging in a partnership and being a part of a team in theater like they do on an athletic team or in CTE competitions and things like that?
Oh, absolutely. I have students who say, if it weren't for theater, I would have quit school. It gives them a place of community, family, mental health. There's something just to have that support system, a safe place. That's what they say. This is my safe place. I can't wait to come into the theater because this is where I belong. And then we do, we used to do drama fest here in Caldwell County, but because of COVID, that's sort of to the wayside. So hopefully something like that could come back as far as a competition element for us. But just being together and creating, theater.
I had the opportunity, and I don't know if it was 3 years ago, Beauty and the Beast, and I had a really small part. I know they say there aren't any small parts, but I had a small part. I had the opportunity when I was finished to be able to go back out in the audience and just sit and watch. And we did the dress rehearsal, and I watched as young and old, because we had many students that were there, knew where to go, they knew what to do. There was obviously a great deal of preparation and practice that had happened, and then to hear the orchestra play and the music, and the talent is just incredible. And it's exciting because I know our next thing we want to talk about is unveiling, but not the full unveil yet, to talk a bit about the upcoming event. Normally we're talking about something that's going to happen in the next month or so when we go through this, but we're really setting the stage for something that's going to happen next spring. So I'm going to turn that over to you all and let you talk about it as you would like.
Okay, thank you. And thank you for being in Beauty and the Beast. And as a matter of fact, we would love to have you to have a cameo in our next production.
There's no singing parts.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. We are going to be doing another collaborative all-county musical, and we wish that we have students involved from all the schools in Caldwell County, whether it be on stage, backstage, front of house, helping, sell concessions, whatever. Just we want to get as many students involved as we can. And I'm going to turn it over to Julie, and you could talk about how we're going to reveal this.
Yes. Starting August 15th, we will have a series of videos where we have a large list of titles, and we'll slowly take titles away each time we do a video until we are left with our final list of titles to announce our actual title for the 2023 show.
So that announcement will be made officially around what time?
Well, it'll be posted on the Facebook page and our social media. So just keep an eye open, August 15th, and to learn the title. But we will be doing it at the Civic Center, J. Broyhill Civic Center, and the actual production dates will be in April the 27th through the 30th. So we have confirmed those dates with them.
But you have some informational meetings at South Caldwell in September, is that correct?
Yes, we wanted to have a meeting on September 20th at South Caldwell, just to, any students, parents to come and make sure that we're all on the same page, as it were, as to, we'll know what we're doing at that point, but also just specific details about auditions, about rehearsals, and all of that, because, to put, like as you said, to put this all together, all the theater teachers, we're going to be working together, and we want to be as organized and as thorough and clear, and, have a lot of fun, too.
Well, I love that it represents potentially any school in our district and students from a wide grade span. So that's incredible.
Exactly. And, Dr. Phipps, we are the only county that I know of in North Carolina that does this sort of thing. You may have some high schools that will get together and maybe do musicals or camps in the summer, but we're kind of special. So we're very proud and happy to have the people that, to do it, and the support from you guys as well.
Well, we do support you. I'll tell you, if I'm in a room with more than one person, I generally am the poorest in terms of talent in the art world, but I appreciate it. And I see the value, and I'm glad that we have continued to make that a priority from elementary all the way through high school. So thank you both for what you do, and we look forward to upcoming reveals and information.
Exactly.
Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
And we thank you for being with us. We hope you've enjoyed this episode. We'll see you next month.